Hey, this is William Graber for the Module 3 Inquiry Lab. Can you filter your water? So, planning for the lab, I wanted to figure out how could I use the cups. I didn't have clear cups, and I had to figure out how would I show that the water came out clear or not. So I had to think through that. I also had to think how would I put the materials in the cups and have the water actually run through it. So poking holes in the bottom. Would the holes be big enough that the water would go through, but the material would not? And I ended up, when I put the cups together, as you can see here, I put filters around, coffee filters around the material that would have passed through the holes. So the charcoal, the alum, and the sand is a little bit smaller, so it would probably pass through the holes. So I didn't want it to run through, and I wanted it to just be water passing through. The gravel was large enough that it wouldn't go through the holes that I created. And then I used the pushpin idea that was shown in the previously done experiments by Dr. Dietrich's students and the other time she's conducted this experiment. So then when I stacked them, I put the cloth above, put a rubber band around it, and I used the alum first because I looked at the video where it showed flocculation, and I figured that would be good to begin with, making the flocculation occur, and then run through the gravel, charcoal, and sand, going from the largest to the smallest of the materials left, so that any larger debris would be dealt with beforehand, then through the charcoal and then the sand, taking smaller and smaller debris away. And so here was my dirty water taken from dirt from my flower bed and water, and it was kind of gross. But when I poured it in, the first test that I did was pretty cloudy, not as bad as I expected for my first try. And so then I made some changes. I added more sand, and then I actually added more filters back where the gravel was, to see if I could make like that humus layer or humus layer that was shown in one of the videos, again by the announcements throughout the week. And when I tested that again, it actually was really, really clear and was able to be seen that it did filter the water. And the reflection from my countertop actually makes it look less clear than it was in person, but it was clear. It was good to see. I would say that I was able to create a water filter system. Probably wouldn't test it with drinking, but it looks clear, so good to me. On the inquiry continuum, the 5 different features. On the first feature, I said it was, I circled in red, the learner engaged in question provided by the teacher or the materials. So we were provided with the question and provided with the materials. So that was teacher guided. The rest was more learner self-directed. So feature 2, I determined and what constituted my evidence, and then I collected it. So I created the experiment and did it on my own. I formulated my explanation as you just listened to from my evidence. And then the scientific knowledge I didn't really have too much of, so I had to use the resources that we were provided throughout the week to kind of gauge what I wanted to do with this. And then lastly, I communicated and justified my explanation.